Today, the unemployment rate remaining steady at a 48-year low of 3.4%, but the workforce soaring to a record high with participation at 66.8% in November, and most of the new workforce going straight into new jobs with 64,000 jobs added in November. Let's get more with Catherine Birch. She joins us now from ANZ. Catherine, pleasure to have you on the program today. Just talk us through this, because the record high participation rate, but pretty much all of those people going straight into jobs in the economy.
I mean, it's a really solid report. We saw very strong employment growth. We've got, as you said, the 48-year low in unemployment. Underemployment also fell as well to 5.8%. And yet, you know, we've still got almost 500,000 job vacancies across the economy too. So a solid report, and actually we think that solid employment growth is going to continue into 2023. Unemployment is likely to stay very low, we think, through next year as well. And we're seeing a real benefit from the pickup in net migration as well. So as more people arrive, they're finding jobs, they're helping with matching workers to the jobs who have the right skills and experience. And that's actually a tailwind for employment growth going into 2023.
I guess, you know, it's interesting because we've heard the RBA talk about employment in particular. I know wages growth is a big part of this. We are lagging a lot of the advanced economies when it comes to wages growth. Do you see this picking up over the next 12 months?
We do expect that wage growth will continue to accelerate and pick up above 4% based on the wage price index in 2023. And it is that persistent tightness in the labour market that is likely to contribute to that. Even as demand growth slows through 2023 under the weight of higher inflation and higher rates, it's still going to take quite a long time to actually close that gap between labour demand and supply and actually filter through to the labour market actually starting to weaken. And the thing is that as long as most people who want a job have a job or can find one quickly, and that's still the case that we're seeing at the moment, it's really hard to see the Australian economy deteriorate sharply. So we think that 2023 is going to be more of a squeeze rather than a crash, and rising income growth will be another cushion for things like household spending and the broader economy as well.
It's a conundrum, you know, for the RBA going forward, because obviously we are seeing a slowdown in spending. We are seeing a slowdown in a lot of parts of the economy. Unemployment obviously cushioning us somewhat, but we're certainly seeing the housing market take a big hit. How does the RBA play this going forward? I mean, it's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is. And I mean, we're expecting the RBA will need to continue lifting rates in 2023. Our current pick is for a peak cash rate of 3.85%. By May next year. And the big reason for that is that demand is still well ahead of supply. We need to bring those two back into balance. And while at the moment, yes, we've got very high inflation, wages growth is picking up as well. So far, those medium to longer term inflation expectations in Australia have still been anchored. But the longer that inflation is higher and the strength in the labour market will continue to contribute to the stickiness in inflation, the more worried the RBA will be. So it is better, we think, from the RBA's point of view, to actually lift the rates further in the near term rather than risking inflation being even higher or even stickier for longer and having to lift rates even further down the track and potentially causing unnecessary damage to the economy and the labour market.
You know, it's interesting because the RBA's talked a bit about the household savings ratio in the past and the fact that, you know, a lot of people have this pent-up sort of savings, I guess, to get them through maybe higher mortgage rates or higher cost of living, although we have seen now that come down back to pre-COVID levels. Is this a concern going forward? I mean, what does the next 12 months look like for the economy?
Look, we certainly see spending growth slowing much more next year, particularly in the second half of the year, and we'll see more and more households actually feel the full impact of the rate hikes that we've seen so far, and the rate hikes we'll see in early 2023, we think, particularly as some of those households on ultra-low fixed-rate mortgages actually roll off onto higher rates. But there is still room for the savings ratio to continue to fall. So we're still actually adding to savings in aggregate rather than actually using savings to pay for things. So we do think that saving rate will come down more through next year as households try to smooth their spending, keep on spending on the things that they need to, keep on making their mortgage repayments, keep on making their rent payments as well. So that saving rate will come down. At the aggregate level, though, we still have this population growth tailwind as migration will continue to recover into next year. And we know that net overseas migration is a key driver of demand in Australia and has been for several years. So that is going to help cushion that slowdown.
Lots to watch, and the RBA has a bit of time now to digest this. Catherine Birch, appreciate your time on the program. Thank you very much for joining us.